agenda time. Craig is set for the day and the news. Sit back and relax, grab a coffee and chill, and enjoy the shenanigans tonight. Anfield Agenda. Anfield Agenda. YNWA. Anfield Agenda. Time for Craig to tell it straight. Watch alongs to fill your day. Make to subscribe and stay. Up the Reds, up the Reds. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh. Anfield Agenda. Anfield Agenda. YNWA. Anfield Agenda. Time for Craig to tell it straight. Watch alongs to fill your day. Make to subscribe and stay. Up the Reds, up the Reds. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh, 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 Anfield Agenda. Anfield Agenda. YNWA. Anfield Agenda.
What is up, my friends? How are we? Do you like that intro? I want to say a special thank you to Connor, who emailed it to us. Not our Connor, a different Connor. Did it on AI and emailed it to us. And myself and Connor were listening to it going, you know what? This is quite catchy. So we thought we'd give it a bash. And do you know what? Fair play. Thank you, Connor. And look, what a day. What a day all around, my friends. Liverpool gone to Old Trafford and absolutely whooped United. Yeah, I'm buzzing. As you can imagine, my voice is nearly gone. But wow, what a day. What a day. And let's relive it all over the next hour or so. We're going to talk about the game. We're going to talk about Mohamed Salah. We're going to talk about Trent, Virgil, Arne Slot, the performances. Just there's so much positivity to go into. So yes, I hope we're all well. And thank you for joining me. Took a dump in old toilet. Yes, absolutely. It was phenomenal. And you know what? It didn't flatter us at all, really. I seen some United fans trying to say the referee robbed them. I mean, for the love of God, get over it. It was a great game. And look, we started out probably on the back foot for the first 5 to 10 minutes. Found our way into the game. Had a goal ruled out, correctly ruled out for offside, as tough as it was to watch. And then we just established domination in that game. Ryan Gravenberch was quite simply unplayable. Sorry, I'm getting messages here on my phone. I need to turn it on to do not disturb. Unplayable. Yeah, simply unplayable. One sec. Mark sent me a message, but I need to reopen WhatsApp here. 1 second. What was this one? Yeah, sorry, Mark. 1 second, mate. I'll get to your comment. I need to fully close down WhatsApp and then bring it back up. So yeah, are we buzzing? Are we going to be watching Match of the Day too? I think I will be anyway. Was the song made by AI? Yes, it was. That's what I'm saying. It was something that's sent to us and we just thought, wow, that's class. Oh, thank you, Mark. Yes, we will talk about that on another day. We'll appreciate the update, Mark. So yeah, look, tonight we're here to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, which I'm sure is going to be the game today. We're going to talk about what that means, of course, in the context of the season. But I want to just say this really quickly before we get stuck into it. I don't know how anybody could be anything other than impressed with how Arne Slot has handled himself and his introduction to the Premier League. His decisions have been spot on. His substitutions have made sense. His ruthless streak I admire. And, you know, he's getting the best out of players. Mohamed Salah looks absolutely sensational. Lucho looks fantastic. It's just great. And Ryan Gravenberch today put on a clinic, a masterclass in midfield. The only downside of today, I guess, was Szoboszlai not shooting, which I'll never understand how he didn't put that ball in the back of the net. But thankfully, it didn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. Your Liverpool have played 3 games, won 3 games, scored 7 goals, conceded none. That is an almost perfect start to the campaign. It is a perfect start. Slot has been unbelievable, said Alex. Absolutely, bro. He has been amazing and gone about it in his own way. And that's what I like about Slot. That's why I was so argumentative over the summer, because I want this guy to succeed. I really like Arne Slot. And I like how he handles himself. Even in his interviews with Sky afterwards, he's not getting carried away with the emotion of it all. He's still looking to put right a couple of things he's seen that we were doing wrong. But overall, just absolutely impeccable from Mr. Arne Slot today and his Liverpool team. I hope you guys had a chance to check out the player ratings video as well. Of course, they're all high scores. Why wouldn't they be? First super chat of the night, said Ryan McGee, said, well in, Craig. Nice birthday present. Yeah, happy birthday, bro. And yes, I can think of many things I'd like for my birthday, but a win, a hammering of United at Old Trafford would be right up there as well, mate. So yeah, welcome in. And thank you for your super chat. Slot showed passion today, said Yusuf, he did indeed. Salah's preference is to stay. I did see that, yes, I'd seen Melissa Reddy, I think, put out a piece to say that. Look, I never took what Mohamed Salah said about his contract as anything other than a factual situation. It's down to the club to make this happen. That's all we can say. You can talk about the fact that Mohamed Salah is 32, 33 years of age, but he's putting in the performances. And if he keeps playing like that, if he keeps delivering like that, as he has done at the start of this season, then it should be a very easy decision for the club to offer him a 2 or 3 year contract extension. We all, of course, hope and want him to get that extension, but it's out of our hands. It's over to Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes to get that sorted. And there's not much more the man can do himself. He's been phenomenal. Do we actually believe that the club have made no contact at all with Mo, VVD and Trent? Don't mean to start it on a downer. I don't think they have, to be honest with you. I mean, we can only take these guys at their words. I've not heard it from Trent, to be honest, but I've heard Mo and Virgil both say that they've not heard anything yet. But let's see. It's on the club now. You know, the lads can't do any more. They've started the season, 3 wins from 3, clean sheets galore, Mohamed Salah scoring and assisting for fun. You know, it's very clear now. From our perspective as fans, it's a no-brainer, right? Give them contract extensions. But it has to work for the club as well. And my thing about Mohamed Salah has always been, I don't want him walking away in a free. I don't want Virgil walking away in a free. I definitely don't want Trent walking away in a free. And I liked how Trent handled himself as well with a substitution today. Obviously, a round of applause for the travelling cop. High five for Conor Bradley as he came on. And a little hug for the manager as well. What a first impression for Chiesa, said GM. Absolutely. He must be licking his lips sitting up there looking at that thinking, oh, hello, I've joined the real team here. Do you know what this does do, though? It makes the stuff we heard from Gary Neville really just look poor. I mean, trying to say that United's midfield was leaps above our midfield. I don't know what world he lives in. I understand and appreciate that Neville is a United fan at heart. A man through and through. I get all of that. But come on, we know what we look at. And there was no world that Manchester United's midfield was better than Liverpool's. There was none. Yes, it could have been a competitive game. Of course. We remember games in recent times where we've gone in thinking we're going to win and haven't done it. But for Neville to look the camera straight down and say that United are going to finish above Liverpool, that United's midfield is better than it, it's not even truthful. I refuse to believe that a man who knows the game as well as Gary Neville knows the game actually believes that United have a better midfield or a better setup than us. I just refuse to acknowledge that. So let's see what happens. He's still living in cloud cuckoo land about the whole Ten Hag stuff, about United keeping him on. I think it's madness. I'm with Jamie Carragher on this one. If United fans or Neville can't see the lack of cohesion or a plan under Ten Hag, I don't know what to say to them. Great vibes tonight, said Jason Irish Red. Absolutely, mate. These are the days we live for as Liverpool fans. To be fair to my United supporting mates, I've received a couple of text messages saying congratulations. All of them being very honest about the game, saying men versus boys out there, and I appreciate them, of course, for acknowledging the victory, because it was a comprehensive one. Give Mo, Trent and Virgil a new contract and give Ten Hag a pay rise. Craig, I think taking Trent off at the same time as Núñez is a waste of Darwin. Needs Trent's passing to make his runs. Look, the manager's paid to make these decisions, Chris. And of course we all want Darwin to be successful. But right now, we should all be behind the manager and his decisions, because he's got them right. He's saving Trent's legs. I can understand exactly where you're coming from. Trent's through balls would, of course, open up a lot of opportunities for Darwin. But right now, the man's just managing the squad. And managing it very, very well, might I say. We made Man United look like the away team at home, said Bobby B. Absolutely. It was a slow start. We didn't really get the ball for the first 3 or 4 minutes. And then we found our way into the game and played with a confidence and a swagger that... And let me say one more thing. We played with a hunger and a desire that just United couldn't live with. And it was beautiful to watch. The pressing was magnificent. I thought our forwards, particularly Mohamed Salah, defended remarkably well. Worked really hard for the team. I heard Arne speaking about the fact that there were a couple of times he thought Lucho needed to track back more. He said Trent was loose with the ball once, but every little incident he remembers and knows what we need to correct. I'm so impressed. Slot is so tactically savvy, it's unreal. Tony, I couldn't have put it any better, mate. It's days when I hear the likes of Arne Slot speaking, Tony, that I remember why I'm sitting here as a fan. Because we all think we know the game. I've played the game. I've been around it my entire life. But when you hear somebody like Arne Slot, and Pep Linders before, I remember thinking the same thing, you can see why these guys are in the positions they are. He is so tactically astute, so tuned in. He's just so measured. There's just a lot to like about him. There really is. Stevie Boy said, is Mo Salah a Liverpool legend whether he stays or not? Of course. And to be fair, mate, no, I don't remember anybody ever saying otherwise. The only thing we often spoke about was if he moved to another Premier League club after Liverpool, it would taint it a bit. But, of course, he is one of the greatest of the Premier League era for us, without a shadow of a doubt. And he's continuing to do it. And he looks after himself. And look, do you know what I love? I love that Arne Slot is making sure that we don't burn these guys out too early in the season. So for me, the big acid test with Mohamed Salah is going to be in the second half of the campaign. Because he started campaigns fast before, but injury and fatigue have caught up with him. So I think Arne managing him and managing his minutes better will stand Mo to good stead moving forward as the season goes on. And hopefully will limit our injuries. Essex Catboy, how are you, my man? And I hope the young lady is doing well. Said, message to FSG, do your damn job and tie these 3 contracts up or feck off back to Boston. Oh wait, they despise you there too. Look, it should be a no-brainer here, as they're going. If you're a player trying to convince a club that you haven't declined at all, I don't know what more Mo could do. He's got himself a goal and 2 assists today. He owns Old Trafford. Virgil has come off the back of a very good season where statistically he was top-notch, and has started again and been part of a defence that's kept 3 clean sheets. Trent the same. They can't do much more. It is on the club now to sort this out. And they can't say the wiggle room isn't there. And they can't say that Mo doesn't deserve it. They all deserve it. And I hope, like everybody else, that we hear the announcement that all of them have agreed extensions. I hope we do, of course. Jay Mew said, Craig, who was your man of the match? I went with Gravenberch, the same as our audience. Our poll that we did, over 6,000 votes in it, by the way, had Gravenberch just about topping it. I think a few points behind was Luis Diaz, who I know got man of the match on Sky. And then after that, I think it was Mohamed Salah and then Dominic Szoboszlai. So I agree with Ryan Gravenberch. I thought that Ryan Gravenberch looked the best player in a midfield full of good players, particularly for us. I thought he was exceptional. Gliding away from Manchester United midfielders, winning the ball back and just showing the class that we all knew he had. Brilliant performance from Ryan. Brilliant. Tony Hoare said, public apology to Ryan Gravenberch. I thought you couldn't be a 6. I was totally wrong. So here's what my take on all of this, Tony. I think most of us believe that Ryan could become a 6. And still do believe that Ryan could become a 6. But it's about what happens if he gets a knock. So this is why we needed that extra body in midfield. It's to make sure that we don't have to overplay him. That if we do have to interchange him, that there's somebody coming in that Arne feels won't weaken the midfield at all. That's the fairest I can be about it. All of us as Liverpool fans now, no matter what we think of the window, are happy. Of course we are. But we also know and don't want the fall off because of injuries or suspensions or anything like that. I think Arne is doing his best at the moment to make sure that he can prevent injury where possible. I'm sure Ruben Peters as well. They're going to be looking at the underlying numbers. I've liked everything they've done so far. And if we can get through this season without picking up injuries or suspensions, who knows? Who knows? Because we've always said it, all of us. The starting 11's as good as anyone's. It's just about the length of a season. And Arne said it himself in his post-match interview with Sky. 2 games a week coming up now after the international break. Champions League game, league game. That's when it's going to start taking its toll, and that's when squad management becomes really important. And that's where I hope in the future we add those last couple of pieces of the jigsaw. The Detective, thank you mate for your super chat, said, great game today. Good to see Slot being grounded and talking about us getting results consistently. And then the Champions League is back as well. Hopefully we can kick on after the break. Well, we're perfect at the moment, buddy. 3 from 3. We've Nottingham Forest at home coming up after the international break. And then, of course, we start the little matter of the Champions League stage. And I can't wait for that as well. I'm delighted to be finally getting over to a game as well after Christmas. I can't wait getting over for the Lille game, which is brilliant. Matteo said, Klopp has to get credit for this team. It makes me wonder if maybe something was going on behind the scenes. They just stopped playing from after the Man United game in April. Of course, mate, I don't think anybody is not going to give Jurgen credit. We all love Jurgen. And, you know, he left us in a stronger place than when he arrived, like he promised he would. And the business that he did last summer with George Schmadtke, most of us feel most of those signings were really good. The only question that still hangs over the team is the depth at centre-back, perhaps, and certainly the number 6. But all of that aside, what we want as Liverpool fans is to see Liverpool being competitive, to seeing Liverpool winning, and to believe that this group of players can do it. And right now, I would say we're all fairly happy, right? I would say that we can dream for the moment. And why not? Why not? It's hard not to when you go away to Old Trafford and beat them so comprehensively. We were brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Arne Slot is fortunate to inherit the team he has. Credit where it's due, though. Not had to make too many changes. Hopefully can challenge. He's made those small little tweaks, Paul. And do you know what? That press today, and maybe not even the press, maybe I'm oversimplifying it with the press, our determination to win our individual battles and our duels around the pitch was very apparent. United players were going down like flies, hoping the ref was going to bail them out with cheap free kicks, and Anthony Taylor wasn't having it. And I have to commend his performance refereeing today. Nothing that I have to complain about in that game. I thought the yellow cards on both sides were yellow cards. I've no complaints there. The goal that was ruled out, unfortunately, was correctly ruled out, and we said it at the time. So yeah, we don't want the referee to have an impact on these games, and I don't feel he did. I think we just were the better team by a long way, and Arne Slot and the players deserve every credit for that. Would you still take Zubimendi? As in, I don't know from which perspective, from the he turned us down bit, or do you think we still need a 6 bit? The answer to both of them is no, I wouldn't take him because he had his chance. But do we still need a 6? Yes, of course. Ryan needs competition. He needs to be able to be rotated and rested. But we're not here to moan about the window today. You know, the window's been and gone, it's closed. And I promised everybody, when the window closed, we're going to get behind the lads like we always do. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I speak about the transfer business during the window, and I call out the owners as I feel they need to be called out. And it's sincere and it's honest. But make no mistake, all of us want the same thing. Whatever side of this FSG situation you're on, and I'm certainly on the side of not thinking very highly of them, they're irrelevant because it's about the manager and the players. So when the window's open and they're writing the checks or not, we talk about them. But now it's time to get behind Slot and the boys and wish them the best for the season. And that's what I plan to do. We can dream now, but our tougher matches to come against our top 6 opponents will be crucial. Of course. But we can only do what we can do, right? We knew that the first 5 games were favourable, even with a trip to Old Trafford. But we still had to go do our jobs, and they've gone and done their jobs. Palace after the international break, we have to come as well. Or not Palace, excuse me, Forest. You would imagine, if we play like that, we'll get the victory against Forest. Yeah, look, it's just brilliant. And of course, we have Federico Chiesa to get up to speed and welcome into the team as well. Harry Klein said, Slot is a mastermind. I love listening to his view on each team's tactics, and I bet Klopp was smiling seeing the fans singing the Slot song. I was very impressed as well, Harry, by his knowledge of how United were going to set up. Even the small details of the differences of their forwards pressing, rather than it being a 9 and a 10 pressing, he was speaking about it being a winger and a number 10 pressing. It's just small little details that I would never think of course, and most of us wouldn't, but he knew, and he knew very well, and he knew how to mastermind the victory, and that is really impressive to watch. Because I won't lie to you, going into this game, I wanted him to teach Ten Hag a lesson, because I don't like Ten Hag's attitude towards the credit that Slot has gotten. I find it very dismissive for a man who talks a lot of shite, quite frankly. I mean, for him to look down the camera and try to convince anyone that they've been the second most successful team after City, it needs context. It needs context. Yes, they've won 2 League Cups, or a League Cup and an FA Cup, but they are nowhere near being a title challenger. Nowhere near it. And more than that, and I'll back Jamie Carragher on this as well, you can see a style of play in 3 games from Arne Slot. What he's about, what this team's supposed to do. I've watched probably 15 to 20 Manchester United games under Ten Hag, and I don't have a clue what the plan is. Haven't got a clue. Don't know how much money he has to continue to piss away before the higher ups at Old Trafford realise that, yes, they have put a background staff in place, they've got sporting directors and that, but he should be let nowhere near the transfer window. Nowhere near it. Because his only option is to go to players he's worked with, or players who's worked at clubs he's worked at before. That's it. And they have absolutely been fleeced in the market for fraud after fraud after fraud. And I'm glad it's not our problem. Essex Copbite said, as the match, I'm happy, more than even. These contracts, I'm bloody fuming, mate. Daughter is better, by the way. Thank you for asking. Much love. Well, I'm glad to hear that your young lady is feeling much better, mate. That means a lot. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. And like yourself, I don't believe we should be in this position with the lads and their contracts. But I guess to look at it from an upside and a positive side, we still have time to fix the problem. And that's what they have to do now. We've been let down in the transfer market. There's no denying that. And I will argue that point till I'm blue in the face. But they have the chance to put this right now. With Mohamed Salah, with Virgil and with Trent. They've done their part. They're putting in the performances. They're showing they're still at the level. Now it's up to the club to show and match that ambition. Colin Brooks, yes, we do have to get the likes up. I keep forgetting about the record. We have to make sure we get to the 1,000 likes, by the way, my friends. So if you haven't, do take a second, drop a like for us. Evening, Craig and chat. Brilliant today as our team and slot. I really bloody enjoyed it, said Forever LFC. Please, FSG, get them contracts sorted out. Make VVD and Mo ASAP. No messing around. I agree. Ash said, Taylor had a good game today. About time we start playing on from players hitting the deck. In times gone by, Casemiro and Mainu would have had free kicks. Exactly. It is about time that we see these cheap free kicks being stopped, because it is pathetic. And I loved how ruthless we were when we did get into those positions. Obviously, Dominic Szoboszlai will know he should have scored, and I still don't. I've watched it back twice. I still don't know what he was doing and why he didn't shoot. I've no idea. Fritz Frank said, I don't know what the season will bring, but we just bitch slapped United and the Blue Shite bottled a 2-goal lead. It's a wonderful weekend. Very succinctly put, mate. Yes, it absolutely is. A great weekend. Arsenal dropped points. Check. Liverpool went to Old Trafford and beat them 3-0. Check. 3 wins from 3. Check. Everton bottling a 2-goal lead. Check. Unfortunately, City got a win as well, but hey, look, I'll take it. We're exactly where we wanted to be at this point. Ashley Dooley, thank you, bro, for your super chat. Said, hi, Craig, great win for the boys today. I think our best player today was Casemiro. Well, I think that Barry, that guy on X, whose post I seen, sums it all up. The greatest former Ajax player out in that pitch there today was Ryan Gravenberch by a long, long way. And that makes me smile. Because, honestly, if I'm a United fan, and thankfully by the grace of God I'm not, I would be very, very concerned. Because they look abject. Rashford looks like a shadow of the player that we know he's capable of being. Fernandes looks nowhere near the level. Casemiro is absolutely past it. Their defence doesn't look like it's improved, really, bringing in Matthias de Ligt already. And that's why I said many times I wouldn't have had de Ligt at Liverpool. I don't like his rashness. I don't like him, really. And you've seen today, they resorted to type. They resorted to fouling and kicking and trying to break up our players. And you've seen that with de Ligt as well. You've seen that with Lisandro Martinez. They were frustrated, and it was a beautiful thing to see. Can't believe we've 3 clean sheets and Arsenal only have 2. Do you know what, mate? Honestly, to start the season, after conceding as many frustrating and annoying and unnecessary goals as we did last year, to come in to have Arne Slot start his campaign with 3 clean sheets, 7 goals scored, 9 points from 9, and be a very happy man going on my holidays this week. Slot has completely changed our defence, said Josh. Only team in the league to not concede. Say it again, mate. Say it again. It sounds so good. It's Anfield Agenda. I've been singing that since I heard it. Honestly. That's going to be top of the iTunes chart soon. Anfield Agenda. Being honest though, we've had easier opponents than Arsenal and City. Look, I get where you're coming from. Now, to be fair, you say easy. United away didn't work out well for us last year. Didn't take any wins away in the 3 games we played against United last year. So we've gone and beaten them resoundingly away from home. Arsenal should be beating Brighton at home, if we're being honest. So, yeah, maybe we did, but we've done our job. I mean, City had a difficult opening day with Chelsea, if my memory's right, and they've won their games as well. But look, I never take a win at Old Trafford for granted, nor does it ever stop being satisfying. I love it. Do you think Mo, VVD and Trent sign new deals? It's not on them, it's on the club now. So, one thing we have to make clear is, it's not like Salah, Virgil and Trent have been offered new deals and turned their noses up at it. To the best of all of our understanding, there hasn't been an offer put forward to any of them. So they haven't had anything to accept or turn down yet. And that is the problem. You know, we want to make sure that these things are a priority now. And look, the people that run the club aren't going to be stupid. They're going to know that the pressure's on now to get these contracts sorted, because the boys have responded by showing that they're still at the level. Mike said, I've had Careless Whisper stuck in my ear all day, or stuck in my head all day. I know those days, mate. I wake up every day and I have a different song stuck in my head. I think I've told you this for years. I don't know how, but today I feel like it's going to be that Anfield Agenda banger. Rob said, for me, United is not a rival of our level. I'm waiting for the game with Arsenal, Real Madrid, and of course with the club at 115 charges. Yeah, of course. But, again, you can't win the league early, but you can lose the league early. And all we can do is keep ticking away and picking up points. You would hope we get the 3 points with Forest and we come home as well. So it'll be double pain for Goldbridge. Beating United today in the team he actually supports then next time after the international break. So yeah, it's gonna be epic. I can't wait. Alan Varella's mind said, would you give Salah more money or same money? This is the difficult part for me, mate, because you have to decide, in my opinion, two things. One, is he still at the level that you gave him when he was at his peak? The answer to that question, I guess, is somewhat open to interpretation. You have to keep in mind that Father Time is unbeaten and you won't want to overcommit a sum of money. But, saying all of that, he can't do much more to show he's still at a level that is more than good enough to challenge at the very top. So I would hope the club don't lose him over 50 grand a week. So I don't know what the best way forward for the club is. I don't know what the expectations might be of the player. A couple of things to take into account, as I mentioned. The one thing I've already spoken about, and inflation, of course. You know, the cost of living, not that it matters so much to these footballers, but that's gone up as well. So I don't know what the way forward is, because I don't know what way Salah's contract is with bonuses and whatnot. So if the club, let's say, for argument's sake, kept him on what he's on now, but it kept the incentives higher. So if he still delivers, if he still assists, if he still scores, that those bonuses are making it even more lucrative for him, and he keeps performing, then yeah, why not? Give him his 350 basic and give him those higher incentives to continue to score and assist, which I hope is the compromise we find. Kieran Voss said, what's your thoughts on Gravenberch keeping hold of that number 6 position? Same as yours, I would imagine, that right now he can't do much more. Look, I don't want to backtrack too much here from my position on us needing a number 6 and a defender. It was never because we didn't think Ryan is good enough or not. It's about competition. It's about rotation. It's about knowing that when we do replace Ryan, be it because of an injury, fatigue or a suspension, that there's no drop off. So it's healthy to have competition, good competition. I expect Luis Diaz and Cody Gakpo to push each other on that left hand side and to bring each other to new heights. That's the same for the number 6 position. Nobody should know it's theirs. Nobody should be a guaranteed starter unless they're performing. So it's about competition and squad depth. But yes, of course, Ryan Gravenberch can become a very good number 6. He's showing it already. But we have to be realistic and know that we won't have our best 11 available every week. And that's the only criticism I think is justified, in that we still need those 1 or 2. But look, I'm being honest about it. Ryan's been incredible, and today he was absolutely phenomenal. Melissa Reddy claims Mo wants to stay, but it's up to the club. I think that's always been the case. You know, he can't turn down an offer that hasn't been given to him, Kieran. So Mo has to be given an offer, and then it's up to him to decide whether he wants more, he's happy with it. I don't know. I don't know what Mo's expectations are. I don't know what Trent's expectations are. I know what the fans, all of us want. We want all 3 of them to be given extensions. If VVD and Mo don't get contracts, I think it would be utterly shameless by our owners, mate. Top up Trent's contract too. Absolutely. Like, I'm going to reiterate this again. I don't understand how they're in this position. Any of them. Particularly Trent. And that's been my line all summer. To allow these lads to get to this position, I find it a bit disrespectful, quite frankly. Because if I was in their position, if I was the club captain, the club vice captain, and the club's talisman of the Premier League era in Mohamed Salah, I would feel a little bit like, where's my love? Where's my respect? Where's my contract offer? And I think they're fair to expect that. Why did we let Bajcetic and Vandenberg go if they weren't going to sign a DM and centre back? I can only... So, sorry, let me get back to your comment. Why did we let Vandenberg? So, Bajcetic, I agree with that decision. 100%. As Arne said, and I think as most of us would agree with, the most important thing for Stefan now is to get game time, to progress, to get minutes into his legs, to get over the 15 or so months he wasn't playing. And Liverpool couldn't have given him the guarantee of enough playing time. I'm sure that was a difficult call, but I feel like the right decision was to send him on loan, where he's going to play Champions League football. He's going to get minutes in his legs. He's going to be working with a coach that knows him very well, in Pep Linders. So that one I think was the right decision. We kept Tyler Morton to provide options along with Wataru Endo. Now, I don't feel either of those two are ultimately of the standard necessary in my opinion, but they are still bodies at the moment. Sepp Vandenberg, it was a good deal, quite frankly. I do agree with you. We've left ourselves in a possible headache if we do pick up injuries at centre back. We've got no Nat Phillips. We've got no Sepp Vandenberg. Reece Williams has gone out as well. So that could be a problem. But the money was good money. The club wanted 20. The club got 25 all in. And I don't have any complaints over that. I just have complaints about not adding. I think the deals we did for the money we did outside of Bobby Clark, I think were good. The Bobby Clark deal, I don't understand. Philip said... Where's this one? When's your last stream before Halls? Still trying to figure that out. Probably Wednesday. I'm going Wednesday night into Thursday morning. We leave our house really early, about 3 a.m. So probably Wednesday evening is the answer. Tomorrow, the only live stream we're going to do is the Late Night Agenda at 8:45. I'm recording with David Lynch tomorrow at about 3 o'clock, so I'm hoping that should be out on video and podcast by 5. And then I'm recording over on Simon's channel, Liverpool Fan in Japan, at about 4, I think. So yeah, 8:45 tomorrow, and then 8:45 Tuesday, and probably Wednesday. But Wednesday will definitely be the last one before I go away. And my goodness, I need this break. I tell you, my head's mushed. Arne spoke so well afterwards on TV. There is real clarity in the way this team are playing and set up under him. Exciting times ahead, Craig, said Carl Coates. I believe you, mate, and I agree with you. Yes. Contrast that to the other fella that's been at that club, what, 3 years now? Ten Lasso? This is his 3rd year. And no sign of progress for me in how I've looked at them. And they've spunked another, what, 200 million? Casemiro was so bad. So bad. How long am I on holidays for? Just a week. I'm away for a week and then I'll be back. And then I'm away on business for a week in October in that international break. So yeah, they're the 2 trips I have coming up. So a week. About every international break I usually try and pencil something in. November international break, actually, while we're talking about it, November international break, we are here in Liverpool at the Hot Water Comedy Club. If you would like to come and see us, and the tickets are doing really well, so thank you to everyone that's bought them. You can get your ticket with the link at the top of the chat or in the description. And again, they are all ages show, so it doesn't matter if you're 10 or 90, you can come along and see us. Can we do a poll asking if Ten Hag should stay at United? I think we'll all say yes. Darren said, pissed off with Ornstein's message of can't spend like other clubs, we are self-sustaining. We made FSG a profit this summer, missed out on DM, not acceptable. Look, I'm not going to speak about what David Ornstein or anybody else has to say. I'm going to just speak from my own perspective of these owners. There is money there. You know it. I know it. Everybody else knows it. Anybody who parrots this nonsense that Liverpool have not got the ability to spend money should give their head a wobble. I'm fed up of it because it doesn't make any sense. We know we saved a fortune in contracts by Thiago, Adrian and Matip leaving. 18.5 million quid a year. So let's even assume that goes on covering the contract extensions for Virgil, Mohamed and Trent. We made a profit in this summer's transfer window. So this we don't have money line needs to stop. The owners are cheap. That's my view. That's my honest view. Outside transfer window, inside transfer window, cheap, cheap, cheap. And nothing about that's going to change. But most importantly, and I mean this sincerely, winning on the pitch is all that matters. And if we can do that, despite these cheap fucks, then I'm happy. Same as everybody else. But I'm not going to not call out what I see as unacceptable. And I hope when I did my piece replying to Ian Doyle, I did you all credit. I didn't swear. I tried to be as honest, as engaging, as forthright and as blunt as I could be without belittling anybody, explaining our standpoint and why we think that money should be made available and that we do need to do a little bit more and that the owners are not backing the manager. Sorry, that's my genuine opinion. I don't expect everybody to agree with me. I don't expect everyone to tell me I'm right. But I do expect respect for people that think differently. Whether it's you or me or anybody else. This belittling of us needs to stop because it never wins. It never sorts out anything. Don't lump us all in the same boat and say if anybody questions the owners that they're all FSG out lunatics. We have valid concerns that many of us are able to articulate in a very fair and balanced way when given the opportunity. But most of the time we aren't given that opportunity, are we? We're ignored, we're shunned, we're blacklisted. But I think our numbers and our community and our growth are going to show that there are more people who feel like we feel. It's about making sure that we can have a dialogue. It's about making sure that if we are wrong, as I've said, explain it to us. Don't just belittle us. Explain it to us. Sam, how are you, man? Said, well done on the win. Totally deserved. My club, a finished Ten Hag, needs to be sacked. We're an absolute shambles, a disgrace. We need a change immediately. It isn't great, mate, at United. I'm sure the work that you've done behind the scenes, bringing in a sporting director and the other stuff will help down the line. But I mean this sincerely, Sam, and I'm not trying to bait you or... He looks clueless to me, bro. I've seen United managers in the past and I felt maybe they're unlucky at circumstance or whatever. I just don't see what he brings, Ten Hag. I don't see it. I don't understand what he's doing right. I don't see a progression. I don't see a style of play. I see an arrogant man whose own arrogance isn't measured to what we're seeing on the pitch. So, you know, you're the United fan, mate. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't get it with him. I've never got it with him. What is your first impression with Slot? As I've said all summer, go back and watch I know I was angry about owners and money, but go back and watch the underlying reason why I was angry. And I kept saying, I really like Arne Slot. I really believe in Arne Slot. And I don't want him to be a sacrificial lamb. And so far, he has been a breath of fresh air. Not that Jurgen wasn't. But I mean, he's not come in to try and be Jurgen. He's come in to be Arne. And he's done really well. And the team looks like it's got a vision. And he is so... I think someone said earlier on, tactically astute is probably the best way to put it. Really impressive. Just going about his work. And I have no doubt we've got the right man at the helm. So I give credit to the owners. to Michael Edwards and to Richard Hughes for that decision, because they've made the right decision. Like they did bringing in Jurgen, they've put in a very good man in charge, and they do deserve their credit for that. But it's about making sure that we can realistically go and build on this and have a successful era with trophies. Not just Champions League football, winning it or feeling we can win it. Paul said, where do you think Chiesa will play when he's fit? It's a really interesting decision for Arne to make, isn't it, Paul? Because the thing about Chiesa is he calls himself a winger, of course, and says that's his preferred position. But at Juventus, he played all across the front three. Most of his time, I think at like 34%, something like that, he played through the middle. So I expect him to be cover for Mohamed Salah, or an option maybe through the centre if Jota's injured and Darwin isn't pulling his weight. Again, I'm interested to see what happens with Jadon Danns when he returns from injury. Will he get loaned out in the January market, or will he be looked at by Arne and think, hey, maybe this kid can be a solution through the middle? Chiesa, look, I love it. I love it for various reasons. I love the business. I love him. He seems like he really wants to be at the club. I've never seen somebody happier to join Liverpool Football Club. And I get the feeling that he's not here for a paycheck or to make up the numbers. He's here because he wants to prove himself and he wants to win. And I hope he gets the chance to do it. What a result. Really impressed with the gaffer. Speaking after the game, Ryan was different gravy today. Ten Lasso is all waffle. He is. He is. He's all fur coat and no knickers, as we say. Yeah, just waffle is the right word, mate. Just waffle is right. Mark, I've read out your comments before, mate. Mark Lancaster. I've absolutely read out your comments because I recognise your name, sir. And unfortunately for you, the one I'm reading out is the one about you wanting to read out a comment, so there's no actual substance to it. But I promise you, mate, I don't ignore anybody in the chat on purpose. My priority, of course, is to make sure I read out super chats and membership emails because people have paid the money for that. After that, I go straight into the chat and pick random comments out that are at my eye line. You'll even hear me reading out ones that sometimes criticise me, and I don't know it until I'm halfway through the comment because I just read out I just click on it random and read it out. Jason Irish Red said 3-0. What a day to mark my 10-month membership. Well, thank you so much for that 10 months, Jason. It's been lovely getting to know you on here, mate, over that time. CH, love those initials, mate, well in, said, I think the contract will be signed. That's probably why the spoofer owners didn't buy to save on coin. Great win besides, onwards and upwards, lads. Look, if we, over the next month or two, see those contracts given out, the vibes and the goodwill will be amazing. Everybody will feel absolutely ecstatic and will know that we really are only one or two away from almost perfection. So if that can happen, I would imagine the fan base will be over the moon, and I'll be one of them. So let's see what happens over the next few weeks and months, and I hope you're right. We all want them to be here, successful, happy. What have we got? Who's a player you'd like to see in Liverpool and has Liverpool DNA in him? I've always said that Jared Bowen strikes me as a very Liverpool-esque type player, particularly in the way we played under Jurgen. I've got to be honest and say Zubimendi, I wouldn't have watched hours and hours of him at Sociedad, so I was just taken for granted that he would have been the right player because obviously the club did their due diligence. I'm trying to think of a fair answer for your question. It's hard to improve this team, as we said. I mean, I liked Ederson from Atalanta. for different reasons. I don't know if he has the ball playing abilities that Arne would like from his number 6. Do you know what? Centre back is a situation I'd like us to have gotten Antonio Silva. Did he move, by the way, on deadline day? I remember that there was an offer coming in from Leipzig or something, but I don't know if he moved or not. Hassan Tong said, Craig, not too familiar with contracts. Can players sign the contracts at any point? Yeah, absolutely, mate. You can extend the player's contract at any point whatsoever. It doesn't have to be in or outside a window. Ruby Game said, hello, mate. Been subscribed for 6 years. Wow, thank you. Appreciate that support. Gravenberch is Seedorf regen, said Luke. Look, he just needed a manager to show him that love, put an arm around him and show him the trust. And Arne is obviously somebody he feels he can play for and wants to play for, and is going to give him the opportunity. And he's taken it, which is what you want in these situations. So full credit to Ryan Gravenberch for knuckling down, for taking his opportunities. He was a class apart today, absolutely top notch. Hoarder said FSG has to extend the contract with Trent, Mohamed Salah and Virgil. I think every single one of us in the chat would agree with you, mate. And all three of them can't do much more, right? Salah, again, absolutely phenomenal today. Owns Old Trafford. Virgil, 3 clean sheets as part of a defence that hasn't conceded at the start of the season. Again, not much more they can do. Mark said, I love this channel, by the way, it's fantastic. Thank you, Mark. You're very kind, mate, and I apologise if I had missed some of your messages. It certainly wasn't intentional. Silva did not move, we should get him. Yes, Lynn, I agree. I've said Antonio Silva. I would have loved Branthwaite for multiple reasons. For the fume, for the quality of the youngster, would have been great. But it'll be interesting to see if we do go back in for Mark Gay next summer. Because remember, there was a lot of talk about Liverpool maybe going back in then next summer when they'd probably be able to get him cheaper. I think somebody in the chat told me he'll have 1 year to go in his contract at that point. I have to say, I did think he would move to Newcastle in this window. They came up with a substantial offer, I think, about 65 million. So, yeah, Steve Parish doesn't mess about, does he? Ryan was sensational today, said Ash. Love to see it. Great performance. Shame Jota and Dom tried walking it in, but what a result. Dave Sharple said Klopp signed Gravenberch and Slot has found his best position. I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why Dominic didn't put his laces through that. Not shooting from there is criminal, to be honest with you. When did you start your channel? I think it was 2018. I think it was 2018 when we started. So this would be what? 6th season? Something like that. Never, ever, ever thought we'd get to these numbers. Like, never. I think I've said this before. Our goal when we started the channel was 5,000 subscribers. So, you know, this is phenomenal, mate. I'm a very lucky person to be able to do this day after day. And do you know what? It just winds me up when some people think they know me from a clip and they think I'm a loudmouth or whatever. These people should come in and spend some time in the stream. And if you still don't like us, fair enough. But I'm a far more reasonable, rational, down-to-earth, humble, respectful human being than I get credit for from a lot of people who just take the lazy way of seeing. I've seen a clip of him, he's an arsehole. Come across, and I guarantee you, if I don't win you over, the people in the chat will win you over, because we've got a great community of people. David Newell said 2018 with your setup on a shoebox. Yep, absolutely, mate. Adidas shoebox to the rescue. Will Virgil and Salah stay? We hope so. We hope all three stay. Chris said your channel's one of the inspirations for me starting my own channel. Mate, if I can start a channel from a position where I just basically wanted to reach out and meet other Liverpool fans, and if I can do it, mate, you can do it. Anyone can do it. Just be yourself, be genuine. and work hard. You know, that's all I've ever tried to do, is be consistent in streaming, be me, whether I'm good or bad or indifferent, I'm me, and I enjoy it. I really do. And do you know what? Getting to meet everyone at the live shows is so lovely as well. It's incredible to get to meet people like TOTT2KZ1 actually, who I've met at both the Cardiff and at the Liverpool show. Just checking, Craig, it's quiet today. Man United fans, did they lose today or something? 3 games, 3 wins, 0 goals. I think they were playing somewhere, mate. I know they didn't score anyway today, the Manx, but after that, I'm not sure. Do you think we get a signing in January? God, I really don't know. I guess it depends what way the market is and what way our squad is at that point. You know, if we've not picked up injuries or are in a good place where maybe Tyler Morton started to show some signs and Arne has maybe shown a bit more trust in Endo, perhaps. It's hard to know at this point. I didn't bring that up on screen though for you, mate. Sorry, let me get this up on screen for you. Yeah, it's hard to know at this point. You don't want to be too reactionary either to sign off a short-term injury or anything like that. So I would hope and expect that any business we do or don't do in January will be for players that we have an eye on anyway. Barry, how are you, bro? Lovely to see you in the chat earlier again, my man. And thank you so much for this as well. Very, very kind of you, Barry. As you can hear, mate, my voice is absolutely gone. He said, Craig, great win today, lad. Getting ready for match of the day too. Feel guilty wanting to change last season, but Slot is reinforcing my gut feeling. The guy has a deep understanding of the game. Tactically, he is oozing class. Enjoy your holiday. Thank you, Barry. On what you've said, mate, like yourself, I'm going to grab a shower in a while and then stick on match of the day too and enjoy. I'm the same. I thought it was the time for a change last year. I thought that it came about in the best way possible, where Jurgen made that decision and the club didn't make it or anybody else. Jurgen walked away in his own terms. And then it was about finding the right man. And as you've said, Arne's come in and shown how good he is, how tactically aware and astute he is, and how he didn't come in to be a sacrificial lamb. And Barry's gifted 50 memberships as well. Look at that. Absolute legend, Barry. Thank you, mate. So imagine you didn't come into the stream tonight and you missed out on a membership. There you go. Thank you so much, Barry. Really means a lot, mate. Why nobody giving Alisson his flowers? First class. Fair point. I tried to make sure I gave him his credit in the player ratings. But yes, Alisson kept clean sheet again. And it's not like he didn't have anything to do. He had a couple of saves to make today. I like the sweeper keeper stuff as well on the edge of his own penalty area. Best keeper in the world, bro. Best keeper in the world. Again, I love that people are very thankful to Barry as well. That's lovely of you guys in the chat. NBK Live said, what a game today. Still buzzing. Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't want today to end, to be honest with you. It's just been incredible. I was nervous, thinking, I don't want to go into the international break off a negative result. Please, please, please win. And my God, we played well. Right, I need your help. I need you to hit the like button, because we've got about 15-20 minutes left on tonight's stream. I can't ruin the record we have of 1,000 likes on every live stream. So please, if you have 1 second, drop a like and we keep that streak of, I think it's about 14 or 15 days, maybe even longer, going now. Carlos said the whole team today was totally magical. Agree. Not one person I could look at and think, you didn't do your job today. Not one. I was a little bit annoyed first 15-20 that Lucho gave the ball away once or twice, but my God, he turned the game around. His header was magnificent. Salah's goal was way more difficult than he made it look. I thought it was just brilliant. The aggression shown in midfield today as well. The pressing from the front. We dealt with their attacks quite easily. Yes, Alisson had a couple of saves to make, but you're away at Old Trafford. That's always going to be the case. It was just boys against men out there on that pitch today. Would you rather a great DM in January or to extend the 3 contracts? You see, I don't like these ultimatums because both should be the answer. And I'm trying to be fair about that. Both should be doable and both should be done. The 3 contracts should be extended, and of course, the signing should be made. So, yeah, I don't like hypotheticals, mate, because it gives a get out of jail card or somebody to say, but you said this. I want both, and I think that's reasonable. Love the third kit, said Glenn Boylan. Yes, it's certainly going to have good memories now, isn't it? Of going to Old Trafford in the white kit and whooping them 3-0. Ten Lasso commented on the game saying he ain't Harry Potter. Look, Ten Lasso is deluded. Honestly, absolutely deluded. He comes out with an awful lot of absolute shite, to be honest. And I don't know how United fans aren't sick of listening to him. Fabrizio Romano again stating the bleeding obvious here. I'm still waiting for all those agents and contract talks and deals that he was speaking about all summer behind the scenes that never came to happen. So, well done. He gets the stating the bleeding obvious award now for saying, talks for Salah, Virgil and Trent are yet to take place. So in the next few weeks, Liverpool will work on that for sure. Do people need Romano to tell them that type of stuff? Like, talk about stating the bleeding obvious. Ben Alford said, what do you think of Salah's comments? Why wouldn't the club be talking to all 3? Do they not want them? We're not that naive. It is disgusting, mate, that we haven't spoken to them. And I said this for a long time. How do you let them get to this position? Because if nothing else, they're going to question if the club want them here, right? So I don't have a reason why we haven't spoken to them yet. I hope that their performances and their consistency will wake the club up and get them to get their finger out and get these contracts done. Jordan, thank you, mate. Jordan Gilbert said, everyone's saying Arne is inheriting Klopp's team. Yes, that's what happens. He's still got to come in and do a job. FSG are playing some, or excuse me, for God's sake, sorry. We're playing some sexy football and I love it. I love it as well, bro. Yes. And look, how do you not love keeping 3 clean sheets? Especially after last season when we were conceding so many silly, unnecessary goals. So, 194 likes to go. If you are in with us and you haven't yet hit the like button, please do. How long did it take to reach 1,000 subs? Daniel, I would be lying to you if I said I knew, mate. I haven't got a clue. Yeah, I don't remember. I wish I had an answer for you, mate. Sorry, I don't know. But I tell you one thing. The 1,000 subs milestone, the 10,000 subs, the 100,000 subs, every one of them meant as much to me as the one before. Same way I hope 500,000, if someday we get there, will mean the same to me. It's incredible that our community's growing and people are from all around the world are coming in, chatting with each other, talking about the club that we all love. I don't know. I don't know when the numbers came about. I don't remember. Ben said, you can obviously see Trent's utter desire to stay and think all 3 now love the manager. You can see they want to sign. Yeah, exactly. Look, we can understand if a player wanted to wait and see how the manager gets on. Fair enough. But from the club's perspective, I hope everybody's happy. The players see that the manager's top notch. The manager sees that the lads still have plenty of gas left in the tank. And hopefully those in positions of power at the club know that it's going to be money well invested if they put the money down for the contracts. Eric Ten Hag aren't wrong. We're the most successful club behind City. So let's look at that for a second. He is wrong. He's very wrong. You won a League Cup and an FA Cup. Undoubtedly, fair play, credit where it's due. You were embarrassed in the Champions League, finishing bottom of a bang average group. You finished 8th in the league last year. And I'm supposed to think that there's anything in any way impressive. You got handy draws to get you all the way through the FA Cup rounds. and then you beat City in the final. Full credit, Manu scored a great goal. But there's no progression, there's no improvement, there's no plan, there's no methodology, there's no desire. It's just more shit signings after more shit signings for a manager that hasn't got a Scooby-Doo. So if you think Ten Lasso is right and you want to stay behind him, I'll back you to the hilt, mate, because I want him to stay as long as possible as well, because he is comical. 2 trophies, absolutely. But here's the thing, mate. When we won the League Cup and the FA Cup in the same season, I might say, we were disappointed because we were fighting for the Premier League and the Champions League and came up a bit short. So those 2 domestic cups to us felt like an anticlimax because we actually believed we could go and win the big things. So yes, 2 domestic trophies are 2 domestic trophies. But utterly, are you really going to challenge? Are you going to do anything in Europe? Most likely not. You're back in the Europa League where you're more familiar, so maybe you'll go a little bit further there. But to finish bottom of that Champions League group, it's an embarrassment for your club, for the stature at which it's supported around the world, for the players that came before and won that competition. It's truly an embarrassment. And if you don't feel that as a fan, finishing bottom of an iffy group and finishing 8th in the league, I don't know what to say to you, mate. You know, take your domestic cup trophies all you want, but it's going to be the big ones that people think about and you think about. When you think about Sir Alex Ferguson's time as Manchester United manager, you don't think about FA Cup wins and League Cup wins. You think about him winning the European Cup and multiple Premier League titles because it wasn't a fluke. It was a good manager who built a great team full of winners. Ten Lasso's not that guy. And I'm genuinely trying to be as fair as I can there. And by the way, you're 14th in the league now. 14th. 3 games in. And you've won 1 and lost 2. But second best team after Manchester City. And does that make you feel good saying second best after City? You know, your rivals, your locals. I'd be scarlet, mate, if that was me. And I don't say that to have a dig at you, bro. I don't know you. I'm just saying Ten Lasso's comments are a joke. Because they are nowhere near the second best team over the last 2 years behind City. Nowhere near it. That's between us and Arsenal. And even at that, I'm not happy to be talking about second best. Kofi, how are you, bro? Said, evening, Craig. Lovely day today and win for Slot. Any Souness or Roy Keane comments? So Keane, to be fair, gave Mo his flowers. Talked about Mo being world class. Fair play to him on that one. He knows what he's looking at from a United perspective isn't good enough out there. I've not seen anything from Souness, no. Steve G said, funny watching Liverpool fans sing the Reds have got no money but will still win the league. Surely that shows top match going Reds aren't particularly happy with spending no money. FSGO. Everybody knows, mate, even those people who repeat ad nauseum the nonsense that is briefed about money or whatever. Those people that defend the indefensible know deep down when they put their head on their pillows at night that these owners are cheap. They know it. You know it. I know it. The match going Reds know it. And that, to me, is an indictment of the owners. And you're right. They're thinking the Reds have got no money but will still win the league. You know, I don't want to talk about the owners today, though. I want to give credit where it's due today to those players out there and the coach who went and put on a masterclass at Old Trafford. By the way, I hate to address this subject in the chat, but we got to talk about tragedy chanting. And we got to talk about being better as human beings. And singing about murderers, again, just because you're losing a game of football at home, is tin pot beneath your club, beneath the city of Manchester, and beneath the majority of Manchester United fans who cannot be allowing this to happen. And I don't want whataboutery as an answer, because it doesn't solve any issues. I promise you, I want any Liverpool fan that ever mocks Munich or any other disaster to be banned and booted out. Don't want anything to do with them. But I'm not going to sit it again and see United fans singing about murderers just because you're losing a game of football. Do you have any class about you whatsoever? United fans should want these people out of their fan base. They aren't representing the club, its values, the city, and the good United fans that we all know who'll take this beating on the chin as part of the cycle of football. If you resort to that behaviour, you've lost and you'll forever lose. It's embarrassing. Grown-ass men singing about murderers and people who lost their lives going to a game of football. There is no acceptance of that, and there should be no toleration of that. It's pathetic. It needs to stop. Grow up. You lost a game of football. Get over it. And there's no what about it was clear, it was heard, it was audible, it was reported. You had people. There was one comment from a lady, I believe somebody read out to me, that said, "Why my 13-year-old son's asking me why they're singing about murderers." It's not good enough. Neil said, "Are you confident after today's results, despite the lack of spending?" Am I confident? Believe in the lads, yes. Believe in the manager. It's the squad depth that worries me, and still worries me, because it's one game a week now. We're going to go into 2 games a week. Injuries will start to come as the season goes on. Just now we know the boys are going to be, from all clubs, are going to be jetting off all over the world on international duty. Some of them clocking up a lot of air miles, a lot of travel. And they're going to have to come back again straight in the Premier League football. So that's why I'm so adamant about needing a 6 and a centre-back. It's because we see the levels that we're capable of. We see how good we are at our best with the best players available. And we don't want that drop-off. So I'm over the moon. Of course I am. I'm a fan. And we've started off the season really well. I couldn't ask for more than that. But I'm not going to have revisionism of my desire for wanting to strengthen, because it comes from knowing that we're just this close, and with 1 or 2 more we could be set up for a while. So if we can get these contracts sorted, if we can bring in those 1 or 2 players, we are going to be a force for years to come, and that's all any of us want. Mark Harding, thank you bro for your super chat again, said, "What a day." Oh yeah, there we go. "Do you think Ten Fags will be in a job at Christmas, and if so, would he be good enough for Everton?" So firstly, only need 121 more likes to get there, boys and girls, before we finish up. Do I think he'll still be in a job by Christmas? I'm going to give you the same answer that probably was from the summer. It depends on the options available to the Manchester United board. Because I can understand some of Neville's point about United looking around and not finding a manager that they feel was good enough to come in and do the job. I get that point. But at what point do you continue banging your head against the brick wall knowing that the manager you have isn't going to cut the mustard? So, do I think he'll be in a job by Christmas? No, I don't. I don't expect him to be in a job by Christmas, because I don't think United are going to be mounting any type of a serious challenge to the top 4 or 5 anytime soon. Jordan, thank you mate, said, "You can only keep 2 of the 3, VVD, Salah and Trent. Go. I want extensions for them all." Oh, so you're allowed to say I want extensions for them all, but I have to pick. Oh. I mean, there's no right answer to this. Virgil, go in your scenario. Trent and Mohamed to stay. But again, I want all 3. So, that's like Sophie's choice. He's not shown anything other than throwing the players under the bus when they lose, and has no clear structure, said Nasir. Not sure why you back a manager that does this and call it progress. I would agree with that, mate. I don't see any progress there. But look, I'm glad that's not our problem. You know, I'm glad that our board have put Arne in charge of Liverpool, because we can already see 3 games in a style, a plan, a ruthless streak, a measured response. Class. But long way to go. But we can't be any happier than we are right now. Credit where it's due. We need 78 more likes before we hit that 1,000. So if you haven't, and certainly some of you haven't, please do drop a quick like. Not a hope. VVD and Salah or VVD and Trent the only option. Again, I was asked a question that I don't want to answer, but I gave an answer. I'm not expecting you to agree with me, but it's just an answer, bro. It's a hypothetical situation. And like everybody else, I want all 3 extended. We look way more solid at the back, said Christchild. Love it. Absolutely. 3 clean sheets is glorious. Hope the family have a fantastic vacation. Thank you, Colin. It's just myself, my wife and our son gone away. My daughter's gone away with her boyfriend and their friends in November. So it's just myself, Sabrina and Lucas that are going away next week. Craig, I read Salah said this is my last ever at Old Trafford. He didn't say that. This whole Salah stuff is completely taken out of context. He said this is my last season, then went on to speak about from the context of the contract offer that he'll have to wait and see what happens. And he's right. He can't extend the contract that isn't offered to him, can he? So the club have to get their finger out, give Mo a contract offer, give Virgil a contract offer, and give Trent a contract offer. All of us are wondering how it's gone this long. So they need to sort it out and hope that Mohamed... Look, he can't do any more, can he, than he's doing right now. Have you seen Melissa already said he wants to stay? Yeah, I mean, look, again, context is important in all of these conversations. And they're only being honest. If they haven't had offers from the club, well, then they haven't had offers from the club. But they should expect them. They've certainly earned them. And I would expect that the club... Look, let's put it this way. Can any of us see any justification for not giving a contract extension to Mo, to Virgil, and certainly to Trent? You can talk about the age of Mo and Virgil, but they're not declining. They're not injury prone. They're not making huge mistakes. They've both started the season very well. Virgil came off the back of a statistically top-notch season last year. One of the best centre-backs in Europe. So yeah, all of us want that contract extension. Salah could play to his 40 if he gets no injuries. Tammy said, I agree, offer the extension, but now let's focus on the games. I'm sure Salah wants to stay. Absolutely. I'm sure that they all want to stay as well. Now maybe they did want to see what Arne Slot was like. Maybe they wanted to get a taste of what life was going to be like under a new manager. Because remember, the manager that's just left is a manager that will mean a lot to these guys. To Mohamed, to Virgil, to Trent, and the rest of the group. So maybe it was a little bit of the club waiting to see how the players are physically. The players waiting to see how the new manager is. You know, hopefully it gets resolved amicably. And yeah. Comment to the game when you said Chiesa is probably there humping the sea. I like that one myself, mate, to be honest with you. Because I would have been dry humping the sea if I was in his position. Right, we only need 31 more likes to go before we get to the magic 1,000. So keep hitting that like button. I'm going to wind down the stream because my voice is going and I need to grab a shower and grab some food as well. It's been a long, busy day after a long, busy month. So if you can hit that like button for me before we finish up, I really do appreciate it. Again, Want to remind you can get the tickets to our show coming up November 15th with the link pinned to the top of the chat and in the description of this stream. I will be back tomorrow, 8:45, with the late night agenda, where we will go through everything as always. I'll be recording with David Lynch tomorrow at about 3 o'clock. So that will come out as a podcast and a video at about 5 o'clock. And I'm going to be over on Sai's channel as well, Liverpool Fan in Japan. Please do come across and check that out tomorrow when that video goes up as well. Yeah, I've got to go because my voice is really, it's at its end. We need 6 more likes before I can hit the end, but we're nearly there. So yes, enjoy it. Enjoy match of the day too. Enjoy basking in this victory. We've earned it. It's incredible. 3 wins from 3. 7 goals scored. None conceded. Joined top of the league. Absolutely amazing. One more super chat came in before we go. Let me just bring this up. Jordan said, didn't mean to cause you grief, mate. Love your channel. Keep up the good work. I don't think you caused me any grief on that. No, certainly no problems for me, mate. On the 2 out of 3. All good, bro. All good. Difficult decision, as I'm sure you're aware, but you know, all of us want to keep all 3. Much love, and thank you, Jordan, as well. Much love to you all. I'll catch you tomorrow.